Harinam initiation. We'll have a separate microphone, hopefully, and we'll ask each one of you. And then I'll give you your beads, duly chanted upon, and I also offer you a sacred name. All agreeable to everybody? Yes. After that, we're going to migrate. Great migration from here to a very sacred place on this property. It's a place where Prabhupada himself sat on the Vyasasana. 1976, it was the last time he was here. And he sat in the holy place, which is just a little bit below here. And we'll assemble there right after this. Don't be late. We'll start forthwith after this, and we'll have a fire ceremony. So you can all sit, those initiates, they can all sit for the fire ceremony, and we'll do the ritual at that place to consecrate and consummate the process of initiation. Anything we're missing? You're cool? All good? There's a 2-track system for progressing spiritually and reaching the goal of life, which is Krishna Prema. And this is presented in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in many places, but one striking place is where the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through the pen of Kaviraj Goswami, states that the chanting of Hare Krishna is sufficient for advancing spiritually, for attaining the goal. And this is true. We have evidence from this throughout various shāstras as to the potency of the holy name itself, which is the very means by which we advance spiritually. One very pointed place where we see the effect of chanting Hare Krishna and how it leads to the ultimate goal comes at the very end of the Sharanagati, which is written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where he describes the various aspects of surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in his last song, he talks about how he's chanting the holy name. He describes his ecstatic symptoms, and most noticeably he speaks about how the holy name takes him by his hand to Goloka and introduces him to Krishna and his relationship with Krishna in the spiritual world. One may say, but I thought the holy name and Krishna are the same. And Rupa Goswami mentions in one of his poems, Srinamashtakam Vacham Vachakam Itu Deiti Papatu, that there is no difference between Krishna and his name, but then he says, actually there is. He said, although Krishna and his name are the same, Apanasam Sritim Goranyandam Abhivashil Grinan Tathā Sadyo Vimucheta Yad Pipeti Swayam Bayam. Bhagavatam, first chapter, opens with this statement that anyone who wants to take advantage of Krishna's association may do so by saying Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Because Shaunika, who is speaking, says that Krishna and his name are non-different. Then we have our main Acharya saying that they are different. He said, how are they different? The holy name is more merciful than Krishna, he says. Because, he reasons, that although one may forsake Krishna, and there is a sense of that we're fallen in this material world, you can assume that if you wake up in prison, that you blew it somewhere along the line. It's an assumption. We understand what fallen means. We've fallen from our original relationship with Krishna. So there's a way in which he says, although we may have fallen from that, we may have forsaken Krishna, the holy name comes and reintroduces us to our relationship. And in such a way that we may not even be aware of its presence. I know myself, I was recalling how it is I came in contact with the Hare Krishna movement, and it was by driving past the Sri Hari-Nam Sankirtan on Sproul Plaza on the UC Berkeley campus. I used to take music lessons there, and my mother would drive me, and we'd pass the Hari-Nam Sankirtan, and I would crane my neck going to and from while I was sitting in the car with my mother. Her cursory understanding of who they were was not very clear, but it wasn't clear to me either, but there was something piercing about the sound which made an impression upon me. And Rupa Goswami in his Namashakam also says, Yarabaso pyudyan kavalita bhavadvanta vibhavo drishan tattvandanam api dishati bhakti pranayinim. And that is, even if you're tattvandanam, which means blind to the truth, you've forgotten everything. As we know from the Bhagavatam, when Puranjana is looking for a nice place to live out his life, and he finds a beautiful park, and then the plot thickens and he sees a beautiful girl, and they start talking. He says to her, "Where are you from?" And she says, "I really don't know. All I know is I'm right here now." And there's a way in which we land here. We don't know where we're from, nor do we know where we're going. In fact, we fret over where we might be going from moment to moment because we don't know. And in that tenuous situation, when we hear the holy name, says Rupa Goswami, there's some light that comes into our mind and heart from the power of the holy name, because the name and Krishna are the same. And this is one of the ways that Krishna intervenes in our life, even if we've forgotten him or forsaken him. He comes to us in the holy name. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in writing the Nama Chintamani, Harinam Chintamani, describes how there's different levels of exposure to the holy name. So like in medical terms, if you were exposed to radiation, I would say, "Oh, okay, it was just a tiny little bit." As much as you get, as they tell you in the dentist office, "Oh, you get more of that on an airplane. Don't worry about it." And then you may get major exposure, and the effects of the radiation may show up later. It's like there was a song that many of you probably don't know, but some of you probably do. It was called "Sunshine on a Foggy Day," on a cloudy day, sorry. I won't sing it. But I realized it once at the San Francisco Ratha Yatra when it was extremely cloudy, which it usually is in the summertime. I was running around helping set up the book tables without a hat because I thought, hey, it's cloudy. But the next day I was sunburned, looked up online and said, "Dummy, there's rays coming through." And there's a way in which Yarabaso, there's an abas that comes from the holy name that can touch those who even inadvertently say the name, who say it for musical entertainment, who say it derisively, like, "Why don't you Hare Krishna people take a long walk off a short pier?" Which I've heard before in various iterations. And because the Hare Krishna word is there, the Hare Krishna name is there, Hari-bol, there's a way in which it has its effect, he says. Yarabaso pyudyan kavalita bhavadvanta vibhavo. It breaks the darkness of the soul, hearing the holy name. And in the Harinam Chintamani, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this is one kind of namabhasa. There are indirect rays of the holy name which will have an effect on us. But then he said there's a higher level namabhasa, and that is those who are leaning into the chanting, they've received some information about the holy name which has compelled them to chant it as their life and soul, as their main means to attain Krishna, as their main means to remember Krishna and to connect with Him on a daily basis. This higher level namabhas begins by chanting and cultivating knowledge of Krishna, sambandha gyan, as one's chanting, he says, will definitely lead to the highest level of chanting, which is chanting with love for Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives us a little warning in his song, Radha Krishna Bol. Krishna Bol be jabe pulak habe jorbe anki bolitai. He said, if you keep chanting like this, one of these days, little jiva, his tears going to pour from your eyes and your hairs will stand on end and you'll feel a sense of ecstasy. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also sings in another song that, here's my advice, Bhaktivinoda Upadesh, Ek bar naam rashe matore. He said, try to get this at least one time in your life. Before you leave, Jivana hoilo shesh, he says the end can come at any time. So try to get it at least one time, this experience that matore, there's a sense that, wow, there was something in that. So this is the prescribed method for advancing in devotional service. One may say, Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions you don't need initiation for this. But our acharyas say, particularly Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the 6th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam in his commentary, that if there are Vaishnavas who are chanting Hare Krishna, who have received the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from a bona fide guru, and they're chanting, and they can give you the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and you can chant with a sense of taking shelter and walking in the footsteps of the servants who are serving their spiritual master. He says, if you don't take it, then you're committing the third offense, which is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master, or to be neglectful towards authority, spiritual authority, and think, I'll just do it on my own. In the positive, there's an emphasis on guidance. Krishna mentions it in the Bhagavad Gita that if you want knowledge, tadvidi pranipatina priprashnina sevaya upadakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. You should be pranipad, which means I'm open. I'm open for correction. I'm open for guidance. I really don't know exactly what I'm doing. And you chant with that mood that you're the servant of the servant of the servant, open to be corrected. He says this is the way. It's not an academic process. It's a way of, as Krishna says, opening oneself to all the secrets of the universe. Amani dvama dvitvam, he mentions in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, starting with text number 8 all the way through 13. The first two methods of gaining perfect knowledge are humility and pridelessness. So initiation also is a way of submission to Krishna through his lifeline called the disciplic succession, that there are Vaishnavas who are serving Vaishnavas who are serving the Vaishnavas, and I may then avail myself of their mercy, as Prabhupada described it as a copper wire where electricity comes through. So taking initiation into the holy name is also substantiated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. If you'll recall, when Mahaprabhu and some of his associates had left Vrindavan and were traveling, which was always interesting with Mahaprabhu because along the way he'd have bouts of ecstasy. And just outside of Vrindavan, he had had one such bout of ecstasy in which he had fainted. And the devotees were gathered around him when a group of policemen, soldiers, who were patrolling the area came riding up on horseback. Never a really welcome sign. Cops show up somewhere in a kind of arrogant mood, and that's what mood they were in when they verbally accosted the devotees and said, You've drugged him, pointing to Mahaprabhu. And you've taken all his wealth. The boys are thinking, what wealth? He's a sannyasi, has nothing. But that's what they accused him of. And Mahaprabhu came back to consciousness and said, Hari-bo! and changed the environment. The soldiers took a little interest. Who is this personality? And Mahaprabhu engaged them and he started speaking to them. There was one saintly person amongst them meaning the Pathan soldiers, named Bajuli Khan, who was very interested in spiritual life. And Mahaprabhu, in speaking in erudite ways, told about how even the Quran, or the object of the Quran, is personal, a personal God. And he instilled faith in them right there on that hilltop where they were standing. And subsequently, several of them submitted themselves for initiation right there in the field. In fact, Hari-bhakti-vilāsa talks about initiation and the times and places you should accept it. And says that for several pages there are particular times and places when you should take initiation. The details are grueling and seemingly highly inconvenient, especially in today's world. And great relief comes in the last sentence when he says, the best time to take initiation, as a summary of the entire section, is when you meet a bona fide spiritual master who's willing to give you initiation. Mm-hmm. Then he says, even if it's in the middle of a rice field, you should take it. Because it's so urgent. Tad vignanartam sagurum eva bhigashet samitpani shotrim brahmanishtam. There's a sense that the śāstra gives us this feeling of urgency, how we should, upon sensing that life's meant for something more, that I can submit myself in such a way that I can gain by getting the blessings of those who are following the process, then one should do it as soon as possible. So some of those devotees, Pathan soldiers, had taken initiation there and received new names. And Prabhupada mentions in his purport that this is the prerogative of the Krishna consciousness movement, to go anywhere and everywhere and to give this similar kind of initiation, Harinam initiation. Mahaprabhu himself took initiation from Srila Ishvara Puri in Gaya. You can read between the lines and very scrutinizingly and find that he took both Harinam initiation. His guru had given him instruction saying, here is a verse, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiran yathā. That in the Kali Yuga age, this is the process. Very clearly stated, take it. But it's also clear from the text that he also took mantra initiation from his Guru Maharaj. And that brings us to the second point. If you've taken Harinam and it's sufficient for perfection, why take mantra initiation? Why accept the mantras? In addition, no addition needed, it seems to say in the Shastra. Jiva Goswami very specifically comments on this in his Sandarbhas, saying that although chanting Hare Krishna is sufficient, and oftentimes we hear people say, well, what about, whatever happened to just chant Hare Krishna? I say, okay, go ahead, just chant Hare Krishna. Let's see you do it. Just chant Hare Krishna. It's very difficult when there are ulterior motives within the heart or obstacles known as anarthas, undesirable qualities, which we may have picked up, or likely picked up, or most definitely picked up from association with the material world. And there's a way in which taking mantra initiation is a way of purification, so that we can chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with pure intention. The process of dīkṣā is mentioned in the Hari-bhakti-vilāsa. Divyam jnanam yato tadyat kuryat papasya saṅkṣayam tasmat dīkṣā-vidhānataḥ prokta deshikais tattva kovidai. The Kovidas, those who are learned in the Śāstra, say that this process of mantra dīkṣā is called divyam jnanam. Means there is the seed of divine knowledge within the mantra itself, and what's more, within the process of receiving it from a spiritual master, because one imbibes the mood of the person from whom one receives that mantra. Vaishnamam mukun giranam putam harikatamritam shravananaiva kartavyam sarpochishta yatā. Therefore, Sanātana Gosvāmī says, receive the mantra from those who are in the line of disciplic succession that advocates pure devotional service, not any motivated idea. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmanyana avritamanakulyena Krishna nushilanam bhaktirutama. There's a way in which, in our sampradaya, through our Acharya Rupa Goswami, he begins his book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu saying this mantra must be chanted, the process must be followed without any intention other than pure service to Krishna. No sense of merging into the Lord or getting some business deal out of it. Karma, jnana, yoga, only bhakti. And only through bhakti, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, can he be approached perfectly and directly. So, divyam jnanam yato dadyat, and Sanātana Gosvāmī, Rupa Goswami quote the verse, yathā kāñcanatāṁ yāti kāṁsyaṁ rasa-vidhānataḥ Tathā dīkṣā-vidhānena dvijatvaṁ jāyate Nṛṇām. He gives a metaphor that in taking mantra dīkṣā, that is similar to an alchemical process. I don't have the recipe, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked Prabhupada for it, and Prabhupada said, I forgot what he said, but he didn't give it to him. There's a way in which yogis would be able to take mercury and bell metal, I won't go into the details, and they would transform it into gold. You had to have been there at the time for it. Things happen in bygone ages that we can't even imagine now. So he compares that to, he calls it vidhānena, an authorized process. And so dīkṣā, mantra dīkṣā means yathā kāñcanatāṁ yāti kāṁsyaṁ rasa-vidhānataḥ. Just as you can turn bell metal into gold. So similarly, anyone from any class, as Bhagavatam also says, aho batashva pachato gariyanya jivagre namatubhyam tipusta pastu te juhuvusasna arya brahmanatra nama grananti te. Devahuti is exclaiming how wonderful this chanting is, because even if somebody does it a little bit, with the right attitude, which is to take initiation and chant it especially, then one who is from a certain class of people who are called shwapacha, they're cookers. You can distinguish classes of people through the Vedas by what they cook. What kind of cooking do you do at home? And this type of person has come from a family in which when they go home for the holidays, what's their dish? Dog? Shwapacha. Swa means a dog. So it's even if you come from lowly origins, she says, does Devahuti, if you chant Hare Krishna, there's a transformation that takes place. So much so that one can become qualified to perform Vedic sacrifice, she's saying. Or we can assume that if one can say Hare Krishna, even a little bit, jivagre means just with the tip of your tongue, indicating didn't do it that much, just a little bit. That person has already performed all types of Vedic sacrifice, been to holy places, dipped in all the kunds. Just as much as if you go into a court of law and you see somebody behind the bench with the cloak on and a gavel and giving sentences, that person went to law school. This is the stature of the chanting of the holy name. And so there's a way in which there's a transformational process that takes place. But by the combination of accepting dīkṣā, then divyam jnānim mito dadyat kuryat papa sasaṅśayam, it helps to crush any of the last vestiges of anartha within the heart. Papa sasaṅśayam means the last vestiges of desire for anything other than Krishna consciousness are smashed. And when one engages in the pancharatric process, along with chanting Hare Krishna, then these two processes together, say Jiva Goswami and our other acharyas, are the two tracks by which we go smoothly back to Godhead. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes initiation as more of a process than event. It's called the 5-step process, pancha samskar. First is tapa, which means that one turns away from the material world and has a sense that this is no longer my main objective to get cozy here in the material world. Which Krishna already categorically said is not possible. Abrahma bhuvana loka, etc. And after that comes paundra, which means that one starts to identify oneself as a Vaishnava. Paundra means urva pundra, that you wear the tilak, and you say, what do you do? I'm a Hare Krishna. And the third is to take nama, which means to receive a new name, just as the Patan soldiers did, and as Mahaprabhu imparted them with the name of Krishna and Das, or Dasi, the much coveted name, a much coveted name, that, oh, what do you do? I'm a servant of Krishna. And after that comes mantra. Mantra means you take the second initiation, and then comes yaga, which means engaging in pancharatric deity worship. So there's 5 processes. So 3 of you today are taking mantra dīkṣā, have taken, and since I'm dividing this into 2 halves, I should move along. Nirkula concurs, as usual. And what do we have available for offering to our mantra dīkṣā devotees? May we have them? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Thanks, Raj. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Could you ask one of the devotees from that? Okay, I'll ask him. Okay. Hare Krishna. First of all, Achyuta Radhe has been a stalwart in the local Sangha for many, many years. Here's what. Come offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada over here. Come around, offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, then offer obeisances to your spiritual master, and then we'll say a few things. Loka, would you say a few words, please, about Achyuta Radhe? We'll bring you the microphone, whomever is going to speak. We'll take 1 minute accolade.
Krishna, such a joy to know Śuddhyanti. She's been very steady and just loves studying Prabhupada's books and is very actively engaged in the temple where she makes garlands and serves the deity. Right now, my sister is the deity service department. She is very eager to learn about Krishna consciousness and yes. Just her qualities, they really inspire us to recommend this organization.
Which goes with my contention that those who make garlands are already in the spiritual world. Because what other worldly reason is there to sit in a room and make beautiful garlands except to please Krishna directly? And as one of our exalted devotees once said, that pujaris generally don't know the difference once they die because they'll end up being on the altar wherever they go. But Yutarati, we're so proud of you for your steadiness over the years, your grit in performing devotional service with such heart through thick and thin throughout your life. And it's heartfelt that today we award you this mantra diksha certificate, and we've already given you the mantras. Thank you very much for your dedication. Hare Krishna. And now we'd like to call Shobharadhe Dasi. Please come up in the same algorithm. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's, you could, if you can sit, that's best. If it's comfortable. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Vishnu Gada Prabhu, my heart and soul, my dear godbrother, would you please say a few words about Shobharadhe?
Thank you, Vaiśeṣika. There's a verse in Śrīmad Bhagavatam of Śuddhyanti Gosvāmī, you might know. Kirata Bulanda Bulinda Pulkasha Adhira Shubha Yavana Kasadena Ye Chapapa Idupashra Ashya Śuddhyanti Tasmai prabhaviṣṇave namaḥ. Kirata, hunters, Puns, Andhras, Pulindas, Greeks, etc. Arabs, all these different persons, by taking shelter of the pure devotees, they all become purified and go back to God. So here we have Andhra. So it's a completion of that verse that Śuddhyanti Gosvāmī says, shown. This is proof it works. Mother Shobharadhe, the first time I recognized her was, we had a program to go to New York with the Sunday school in Philadelphia, and to visit 26 Second Avenue and Tompkins Square Park. And at the end we went on a circumambulation boat ride around the island of Manhattan. And so everybody got on the boat, and it was time to go, and we were waiting. And finally, I said, that's it, because she was not there yet. Then I saw her coming running in the distance, just to come, it was too late, we left. So she missed the boat with the ticket. And that, perhaps, was the impetus, that love and separation from the devotees that inspired her to continue doing service in Philadelphia and other places for the next so many years. And I worked my service, I was in the pot room mostly when I was a new devotee, and was associated with the kitchen. And she's been doing steady, wonderful service in the pot room and cooking for Krishna, doing wonderful things in that way for all these different years. This last 2 years, she came and cooked for a week at the summer camp that we had in Gita Nagari. Last year was a little tough. It was a little tough. I was thinking maybe she didn't want to do it anymore because it was so grueling. And I asked her, what do you think about coming this year? She said, it was wonderful. I want to do it. So I could understand that she has made incredible devotional progress in her life, and therefore she's taken the second initiation progress with the grace, Srila Prabhupada's grace.
Prabhupada, in front of your dear mentors and all the assembled Vaishnavas and our revered deities, I hereby publicly award you mantra diksha and wish you happy deity worship and increased service in a heart-to-heart relationship with Krishna. Om Tathā. Gaur Premanande Hari-bhakti. And now, the third devotee today who already took mantra diksha is Vindhyavali Devi Dasi. Please come up. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Are you okay? Or do you want to share? Okay. Vishnu-Gada Prabhu, would you please continue your stream of nectar and glorifying the devotees?
Mother Vindhyavali, she's the mother of Mother Chakravarti. So usually you see that the parent is the guru of the child. If she may not say it's the other way around here. Yeah, because she's coming from a very pious background, but also she learned from her own daughter. And it takes great humility to think about it. If I see my sister, she says, "What are you going to do?" I have an older sister. She says, "What are you going to tell me?" But to speak of the parent, she's accepted this devotional path back to God through her daughter. And we do a class on Thursday. We study, learn about Vedic shloka, and Mother Vindhyavali attends regularly. And in the beginning, it was really tough for her to memorize it to get those shlokas. But you can see over time, over like a year, now she gets it like first thing. Now she's getting those shlokas like anything. And I said, Vaiśeṣika Prabhu, your guru, he likes. Is this right? He likes you like this disciples. So she's learning those shlokas, and I also mentioned that there's this particular these shlokas, Brahma Samhita, that it just so happens that there's a special place in your heart for me. So she learned the Brahma Samhita very perfectly, and maybe we'll be able to chant it today also, all through it. And so I'd like to thank you so much for doing that service for me. Hare Krishna.
It's such a beautiful example, mother and daughter, both taking mantra diksha together. I don't know how often it happens in the world, but it's happening right now. And we're so proud of you, both, and we are eager to see the heights that you will reach in your service to Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Gaur Premanande Hari-bhakti-vilāsa. Having duly acknowledged, I hope it was duly, we've acknowledged the mantra diksha candidates today, no longer candidates, they're actually initiates. And now I will call one by one those who will be accepting Harinam initiation, and Nirkula, who is the referee, not only for me in this particular venue, but pretty much throughout the day, for which I'm eternally grateful. Thank you. Has pointed out that it's the ideal time now to put on your 3 strands of Kuntimala. So if you have a designated person, this is the best to have a person who's trusted, who is one of your friends, mentor, associates, put on the neck beads for you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama. Pardon me? You're here. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is one of the aspects of Urdhva Pundra, wearing Vaishnava tilak, and also wearing neck beads. Those who are aspiring for initiation wear 2 strands, and those who are initiated, which you will be in just a few minutes, wear 3 strands. And this is one of the ways of showing to those whom you meet that you've accepted vows. And oftentimes when people ask, what is the mark on your forehead? We can report that it is the mark of dedication. And there is a path of material enjoyment, trying to get comfortable in the material world. There's a path of trying to renounce the material world altogether, and none of them work. But the path that works is the path of dedication to Krishna, bhaktaram yagatapasam. And this is the meaning of expressing oneself physically by showing that I'm a Vaishnava, is that I'm a devotee of Lord Krishna. All paraphernalia that touches my hand or is in my purview, I see it as offerable to Krishna to be used in his service. So now the candidates will come up, and first we'll call Bhakta Arnab. Hari-bhakti-vilāsa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Who? Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhakta Arnab, our hearts are palpitating now to see you here, and it's proof of the radiating process of Krishna consciousness that you've been here and have made such progress in devotional service. When I met you in the park in New York at Rath Yatra, and you asked for shelter and the opportunity to aspire for initiation, it was one of the most joyous encounters in my life. And I like to hear from Loka and Vidarbha, who have deep insight and I must say love for you, Bhakta Arnab. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. It is our great joy to see Arnab Prabhu walking on the journey and today taking initiation. We see this as just a stop in his journey where we wish him all the progress. What endears him to us are his qualities of a devotee. And quality of his humility, quality of his mood to accept any service, and just doing it so sincerely, and being always very enthusiastic. His deep passion to chanting is very personally very inspiring to me. How he spends meticulously chanting every mantra, and we see that as a great foundation for his spiritual progress. And I guess I just love him because of his qualities as a devotee. And I'm so happy that he's taking Diksha today and wish him from our heart all the best in his spiritual journey.
Vidarbha, please say a few words.
Yes, our hearts are full today because he has such a beautiful combination of enthusiasm, but at the same time he has this unique ability of doing all these amazing services. You go out and book distribution. He has a very special taste for distributing Prabhupada's books, and yet he's able to somehow stay almost invisible, so quiet in the background, and yet so much of energy to offer to Krishna. So it's just so inspiring, and it's really a jewel in our sadhana.
Bhakta Arnab, please express your vows before the deities, all the devotees, and your spiritual master.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Pita my humble obeisances at the Dāsa of the lotus feet. Thank you for accepting me as your disciple. The pledges that I'm taking today, I will chant minimum of 16 rounds a day, every day. I will follow the 4 regulative principles, namely no meat eating, including no fish and eggs, no intoxication, including coffee or tea, no illicit sex, and no gambling. And also I plan to read Prabhupada's books every day and also help the mission by distributing books as and when I can. Thank you very much.
Hari-bol! Bhakta Arnab. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees. I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all of the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. I've given you a Vrindavan name, and one of my favorite names. It appears in a poem written by Rupa Goswami. It's in the same Namashtakam that I mentioned earlier. I'm exceedingly pleased to award you the name Agadamana Das. Hare Krishna. Great Agadamana Das Guru Ki. By the way, Damana means crusher, and Aga means Agasura, or it also means sin. So Krishna is known as the one who crushed Agasura. So It also means the one who crushes all sins. Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tum sarva papibhyo mokshayishami. And it is a Vrindavan name. It's along with Agadamana, Yashoda, Nandana, Nandasuno, etc. Names given by Sanātana Gosvāmī. Nickname? Call him either Agadamana or Damana, but not Aga. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Next we call Bhakta Anshul. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Who's speaking? What? Look up, Prabhu, please.
So happy to see Anshul and his wife Vaiśeṣika taking initiation. We met them 5 years ago, and whenever this journey occurs, some soul coming for the first time and then taking to this step, it is the most joyous occasion for us. So Anshul is what endears me, or he came to us is few things. One is his deep philosophical, thoughtful mind where he scrutinizingly reads Prabhupada's books and tries to understand the deeper meaning going beyond the surface, and asks very meaningful questions which also enlightens everybody else with his questions. His deep mode of sankirtan, when he is proactively willing to go out and then distribute Srila Prabhupada's books in the world. His ability to not just organize, but doing the services in a mood which is very important. A mood of humility, mood of receiving guidance and asking for guidance. So these are the qualities that we see in which we enthusiastically recommend him for initiation, and very happy to see this beautiful day for him today.
Just an amazing couple who can make things happen, and they've been very beautifully nourished and nourished by Hari-bhakti-vilāsa and Mother Bride, and just really, very thoughtful, and yet if you give them some service, they know how to take that service and bring it to completion. But while they are doing that, their mood is always one of humility and again, and just learning how to navigate with the other devotees in the Sangha. And so that mood of cooperation and being sensitive while they're executing that service is something that we really appreciate, and we're so happy that they're part of our community. And we really give it. Thank you so much.
Bhakta Anshul, please tell us your vows.
Please accept my Hare Krishna Gurmat. Make us with my humble presences. And Hare Krishna to all.
Keep that mic very close.
Hare Krishna to all similar all the devotees. So first I say don'ts. I'll take a bow in front of spiritual master, all the deities and all the assembled devotees, that I'll follow the 4 regulative principles, which means no meat eating, including fish and egg, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. from the blue side, I'll take a bow today in front of my future master, all the deities, and all the assembled devotees, that I'll chant minimum 16 rounds every day and read Prabhupada books.
Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul. And depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all of the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name comes from Jiva Goswami's Lagu Vaishnav Toshini. He's included your name, which is the name of Krishna, which means that none of Krishna's intentions or activities ever go in vain, nor do any of our services to Krishna, however small, go in vain. I hereby joyfully award you the name Amoga Vihar Das. Thank you. Next. Bhaktin Anchita, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. It's a great joy. It's so wonderful to see Anchita here. Again, just like her husband, very deep mood of service and always willing to take up any service, big or small, and execute it with a heart filled with love and service attitude. Also, deep absorption in reading Prabhupada's books, and both of them actually make a very wonderful classes in the Bhagavatam and very deeply thoughtful. So, very happy. Thank you so much for being part of us.
Hari-bol. Bhaktanchita, please tell us your vows.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, all the assembled devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. And thank you so much for accepting me, your disciple. Today I take a vow to follow the 4 regulative principles of no meat eating, including eggs, fish, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. I also take a vow to chant minimum of 16 rounds every day and read the Prabhupada book every day.
Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name comes from a composition by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, found in his Stavamrita Lahari. And its meaning is one who has continuous raga, or love for Krishna. I very joyfully award you the name Anuraga Vali Dasi. Anuraga Vali Dasi Kijai. Bhaktin Raksana Hari-bhakti-vilāsa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I'm going. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Tell them pretty short, we're behind. Rama Rama Hare Hare. We're a little behind schedule, so we're just going to tighten everything a little bit. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Such a pleasant and pleasant. And we're witnessing this today. This is the event. Very short, time is short, but there are a lot of qualities I can share about Tathā. I've seen her in spiritual growth as from the beginning. And Tathā is, coming back to the qualities, is always very, very enthusiastic. She's, many of your congregation maybe witnessed that Philadelphia or here, wherever she goes, she always inspires. Where she has come from, and where she is, and where she's going to in future, it's an amazing. She may not realized, but I can see how wonderfully she's transformed herself as she's some devotees. She was very tolerant, even though it's a new culture. In the new culture, she was very tolerant, and more than that, Śuddhyanti Prabhu and Dāsa, they got married. They met in the summer in our this program. We got them married. Since past 5 years at least, they've been constantly serving every Thursday, welcoming, opening their home. It's not very easy. It's husband and wife, and how difficult it is. Opening their home and welcome everyone throughout the Delaware to come and chant Hare Krishna. Dāsa is also a very enthusiastic participant in Harinam. There are so many wonderful participants. I want to congratulate. I was looking for this witness of this day. Hare Krishna.
Quickly, just say something. Roxana, she is the most dynamic person, and she's very well loved because she knows how to love the devotees, and I've never heard her criticize anybody, even when they've done nonsense or something. She's very forgiving, first class devotee.
There you go. Yeah, so we'll give you the mic. Bhakti Roxana, please tell us your vows.
Hare Krishna, please accept my most humble obeisances. Thank you for accepting me.
It's a no-brainer. You're a preacher. You and Savarna Nimai, I've been watching you for years now, and it's amazing, actually. The little ringer on my phone goes off because I'm subscribed to your channel. And there you are, doing Paschatya Deshatarane, what Prabhupada came for, which was the main mission, which is to preach in the West. And you're right in there, in Delaware, in that little space that you've created where people feel comfortable to come and take shelter. And you two, working together, are giving shelter to so many. We're deeply impressed. And you've really shot up in your devotional service because of this preaching work that you're doing, showing compassion, and hearing about your qualities is just so heartwarming. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
to follow the 4 regulative principles, which include no meat eating, which includes fish and eggs, no intoxicants, no gambling, and no illicit sex. And I vow to chant a minimum of 16 rounds and read Prabhupada's books.
Hari-bhakti-vilāsa. Bhakti-Raksana, following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees. I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all of the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name appears in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila. And it's the name of one of Krishna's eternal associates, who's both in the Krishna Lila and in Gaura Lila, as all of his associates are. I very joyfully award you the name Ratnavali Gopi Dasi. Bhaktin Shuchi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please, Vidarbha Sutta.
Very steady progress in spiritual life, specifically her stability and just straightforwardness, just a very straightforward, honest devotee, and always, she just came back from India and Krishna village, and she immediately took on an opportunity. So whenever she's asked to do a service, she's always there, does it with great enthusiasm and great sense of attitude. So I'm just so happy for us receiving that.
Please tell us your vows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna Guru Ma, Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Today I take a vow to chant at least 16 rounds daily without a fail. I take a vow to read Prabhupada books and read his and listen to his lectures. I take a vow to follow the 4 regulated principles, which include no meat eating, including fish and eggs, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling.
Did you say 16 rounds?
Yes.
He said, okay, good.
And 16 rounds at least daily without a fail.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We thank you. The devotees thank you. Krishna thanks you. The whole universe thanks you. Dīkṣā-kali bhaktakari atma samarpan. When you surrender to Krishna in this way, to make a vow in Dīkṣā, Krishna, Lord Chaitanya quoted this verse. He says, Krishna accepts you as one of his own. That's the entryway into Krishna's heart, is by making these vows. So thank you very much for doing this. It's very meaningful. Yours is a name for Srimati Radharani, of course, servant of Srimati Radharani, and it appears in the Vilap Kusumanjali, and it has the meaning of, one of the meanings is that that Krishna is drawn to the beauty of Srimati Radharani, who's compared to the best of lotus flowers in attractive qualities. I very joyfully award you in the name Stala Kamalini Dasi. Bhakti Noel. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhakti Noel, you've been practicing devotional service for many years, actually, and chanting Hare Krishna steadily. We hear from all the devotees, especially from Tushta Krishna Prabhu in Denver and elsewhere, of your sincere service in the Krishna consciousness movement. And since I've gotten to know you, I've come to know how enthusiastic you are for devotional service. It comes out, you're a naturally enthusiastic personality. She's a kindergarten teacher, and just vivaciously engaged in Krishna consciousness. It's a joy to see you here taking initiation, one of a poster child, so to speak, of Prabhupada's movement, coming here to the West to find those beautiful flowers who have faith in Krishna and who have taken the process wholeheartedly. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, and Guru Ma. I vow to follow the 4 regulative principles, and those being, I'm going to
abstain, avoid.
I'll start with no intoxications, no illicit sex, no meat eating, including fish and eggs, and no gambling. And I vow to chant 16 rounds a day, every day for the rest of my life.
At least.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. And
close.
Read Srila Prabhupada's books.
Thank you. Bhakti Noel. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees. I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name is going to be a name of Srimati Radharani, so it means you're a servant of Srimati Radharani, and your name appears in the Sri Sri Radha Madhavayor Nam Yugashtakam, which is composed by Srila Rupa Goswami, and it means that the name of Srimati Radharani is that she's the heroine of the groves of Vrindavan. I very joyfully award you the name Nikunja Nagari Dasi. Her Grace Nikunja Nagari Dasi ki jai. Bhakta Robert. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Gadal Prabhu, please tell us about Bhakta Bob.
Sure. My pleasure. We had devotees from Andhra, from DC, that was at Denver or Delaware, and now we have some
Hari-bhakti-vilāsa.
People from Northeast. Krishna says, Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadhya Kabula Shamana Vishuddhi Chitte Kore. This one thing I'll say, we call him Bhakta. So far, not the students. Anyway, Bhakta had a serious health crisis over here. And I talked to him afterwards. I was concerned, about how he was doing at that. And, he told me that, other things he didn't mind, but he wanted to be sure that he continued his devotional service steadily at that point. And from that I can understand, this person is a real, sincere devotee. Wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Mike is coming.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna Guru Ma. Please accept my humble obeisances, and thank you for taking me on as one of your disciples. I pledge in front of all the devotees here today to follow 4 regular principles, including no meat eating, no fish or eggs, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxicants. I vow to chant minimum 16 rounds daily and read Srila Prabhupada's books daily. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Bhakta Bob, following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I am exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name is a very celebrated name and concept. It comes from Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, in relationship with the pastime of Lord Vāmandev. And it means that it's a name of Krishna, which means that he accepts the essence of one's sincerity in one's practice of devotional service. And he actually knows what it is, because he knows our hearts better than we know our hearts. I very joyfully award you the name Bhava Grahi Janardana Dāsa. Vaiśeṣika. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
So, congratulations to Vaiśeṣika here. And I'm really, really admire her dedication and service. One of the main services she does in the Multimate Temple for Brahma is coordinating the Sunday feast distribution. It's a big thing when you have more than 400 people showing up. But more important part of that I always felt is that when the feast is about to come to an end, she goes around the temple and she asks everybody, "Did you eat? Should I eat your plate?" And that's very inspirational in itself, but it's also a reminder of love and humility. And that I can feel that she knows that there are devotees who are, because of some service or the other, couldn't meet to the garden hall. And that's very inspirational for me. And just by doing that one act, she's been showing the spirit of devotion in her. So I really congratulate her and pray to Prabhupada that you can shower your mercy on her and their loved ones.
It feels good to glorify the devotees, doesn't it?
Yes.
We could do it all day or all lifetime. Please tell us your vows.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you. I vow to not consume meat, including fish and egg. I'll refrain from any kind of intoxication, and I'll not do gambling or illicit sex. I'll chant at least minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamant every day, and I'll read Srila Prabhupada books every day.
Hari-bol. Vaiśeṣika, following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees. I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Yours is also a name of Srimati Radharani. It comes from the Nṛṇām Sahasra Stotra, and it means Radharani, who is the most intimate friend of Krishna. And your specific name is Dāsi, servant. I very joyfully award you the name Shama Saki Dāsi. Bhakta Paul. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
It's a great privilege, and I'm so glad to introduce Bhakta Paul. I used to conduct Tuesday evening Kirtan, and then a few people used to come, and Paul showed up, and I literally got scared. And why I'm making this point, how the power of holy name and devotee association changes, transforms our life. Paul and Alexander are very example. So where they were, how they shine like bright inside some of the devotees. Paul accepted the devotional qualities and attires very bad soon. He had long hairs and very soon, mustache, everything, he was like shining like anything. Not only that, never placed a holy name, leads Kirtan, very nice Kirtan leads, he lives in Philadelphia, deliver all the programs. And more than that, he and his wife, Sammy, they started hosting the programs, weekly programs, even though sometimes financial issues, they have it. But still they're sharing the Krishna concepts to others. And they also help in Bhakti Garden, Hari-bhakti-vilāsa place. So I'm very grateful and very happy to congratulate him for this special day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Today I vow to chant a minimum of 16 rounds daily and to follow the 4 regulative principles, which are no meat eating, including fish or eggs, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. I also vow to read Srila Prabhupada's books daily.
Just as a side note, I didn't add that onto the... You don't have to add it. Read Prabhupada's books every day, please, but you don't have to make it as a vow. Just keep the 4 regulative principles and chant 16 rounds. Just because it can catch on. Now it's gaining momentum and it could become an eternal thing. But do read Prabhupada's books every day. I ask you to organize in such a way that you repeatedly read them. And as I said before, if you don't read all of Prabhupada's books and you don't read them every day, you'll go insane. So please don't go insane. Hare Krishna. I didn't mean to pick on you. I'm seeing a trend and I want to just trim it especially in front of Rukmini Devi and my senior devotees, the senior god siblings, Sarva. Okay. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees. I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all of the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name comes from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, and it's the name of one of the associates of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who, when Nityananda Prabhu visited his village, he had been in a tree and he jumped down and he started dancing with Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So it's very rasa-vidhānataḥ, beautiful name of one of Nityananda Prabhu's associates. I very joyfully award you the name Purandara Pandit Das. Bhaktin Olivia. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Her mother, Rose, is also here today. She's from New Vrindavan. She's an artist. And one thing which I really remember from Olivia was that she's been telling me all the time that she was looking forward for this day since she was 15. She saw the devotee first time that she was 15, and she was really attracted by Hari-Naam and by their enthusiasm. So I am very joyful today, and I congratulate Olivia for her devotion. She's very sincere. She was very sincere about Bhakti Jatva course as well. She was really determined to do that course. So Hare Krishna.
Your head there when Shambhati said that you've been wanting this since you were 15. Mom was there.
It was a big support.
Do you live in New Vrindavan?
No.
I see.
We did.
Thank you for coming. It's very meaningful when we all come together, and your mom's here, and it's very heartfelt. It's nice to meet you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj and Guru Ma. Thank you for accepting me as a disciple. I'm here to take a vow, and the first one is to follow the 4 regular principles: no meat eating, including fish or eggs, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. Also taking a vow to chant the 16 rounds at least of good rounds of the Maha Mantra every day. And
Thank you very much. You've changed the universe by your statement. That is, when we make a vow, it circles the world. It instills courage within the hearts of everyone who hears it, even those who have taken vows many years ago, and remind us that our dedication to Krishna is our real wealth. And thank you very much. It's been a heartfelt journey with you over so many years, and your grit and your determination to come to this point is very inspiring. Thank you. Bhakti Olivia, following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees. I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name, you guessed it, is the name of Srimati Radharani. It comes from the Radha Rasa Sudha-niti, written by Prabodhananda Saraswati. And it means Radharani is more than a goddess. Or in other words, that she's the ultimate deity and goal for all Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And you'll be Dasi of Radharani. I very joyfully award you the name Adishwari Radha Dasi. So if anybody else was planning on getting initiated, we ran out of certificates indeed. So I'll make a 1 minute statement, and we'll make a migration forthwith and directly to the holy Yajna Stali Stan down below, so we can have the fire sacrifice before 1 o'clock. And that is to all the initiates today. Please observe very carefully the etiquette of speech, to speak truthfully, beneficially, and avoiding speech that offends, and to always recite the Vedas, meaning Prabhupada's books especially. And by all means and at all costs, avoid criticizing devotees, because become popular with others doesn't mean that we have to participate. You can sign a waiver saying that you've opted out. Please do that. It's not worth it. It's not helpful. If you see or are touched by any of that in your dealings, you can always convert it in your mind to some kind of praise. Have gratitude for all devotees and avoid circumstances where there's criticism of devotees, and especially on the internet, and especially in writing in any form. Stay far, far away from criticizing Vaishnavas, and just appreciate anybody chanting Hare Krishna and go on with your service steadfastly. Thank you very much, all of you, today for taking this bold step. We're heart and soul with you at every step. We're dedicated to your progress. Nyarakula and I have only one service in life. It really is to help you, and we look forward to doing that in every way possible. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining this today, especially all the senior devotees. It made all the difference in the world, you being here. Thank you, Rose. Hare Krishna. And now we'll make a special trek together, straight out the door, take a sharp right, and speed down the hill. And we'll start the fire yajna within 7 minutes, or your money back from today's presentation. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarishya kripa sindhabheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnavini ki jai.